Hey guys, welcome to the Different Animals Podcast. It's your boy Tyler.
And I'm Ever Castro.
And today, for episode 8, we are going to hit you with, some explanation on our ending quote for last week. We're going to hit you about, some of our favorite rap verses as a feature. We're going to talk about some sneakers and movies. And we're going to talk about Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott finally signed his tender. So he is officially on the Cowboys for the season that may or may not happen. But
Mm-hmm.
first, all right. So the first thing I want to touch on
Yes.
is my ending quote from last week, and so I would like to preface this with I have this long playlist that I just play whenever I'm at work, and I don't know why, but it hit me while I was at work, and I was listening to All Your Fault on Big Sean's album Dark Sky Paradise,
Mm-hmm.
and Kanye West features on it, and one of his lines is if you leave Goofy, no, if you leave Mickey, you gonna end up with a Goofy. I imagine that's what Chris told Carucci. Girls be acting like it's diamonds in their coochie, and I was like, hold on, because from my understanding, this man has used the word coochie in another song, and coochie is such an ignorant, ridiculous word that I couldn't help but notice it. And then you pointed out that in another song that you knew that I didn't, he says coochie. And what song is that?
It's Lord, 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 from his Good Fridays, the free ones, the ones from 2010 before Twisted Fantasy, and he says it. And I think it's him and Mos Def are in that song.
Right.
Because I think you texted me and you were like, "Hey man, did you notice that he says it in these two songs? One was like you said, All Your Fault, and then I think you said Down and Out by um,
By Cameron.
Cameron." Yeah. And so then I was like, wait, but there's another one because I like it just dinged in my brain. I was like, no, he says it in another one, called Lord, Lord, Lord. And so you kind of go like, well, why does he do that? I like you said, it kind of sticks because it is weird to hear him say that. But then also, I don't think I've ever heard anybody else say that in a song before.
Right. So what's the line in Lord, Lord, Lord? Because I remember the one in Down and Out.
Something like, excuse me if I'm trapped by the, wait, no,
Oh, it's if I'm a douche, then put me in your coochie.
yeah.
Which is a terrible line.
uh,
So the thing is that, and sorry, so before I get in, the Kanye's line where he says coochie and down and out is in the fucking chorus. He says, "A girl's the models, they coochies the juicest," which is so gross. It's so fucking gross, and it doesn't matter. It works in the song, but just like they coochies the juicest. And so in my head, the reason why I thought of this is after you told me the Lord, Lord, Lord thing, is that I Googled it. I Googled Kanye West coochie lyrics in Google. And shout out to the Agent Johnson with the FBI monitoring my fucking search results. Um, so I looked that up. And what's funny is the Lord, Lord, Lord and All Your Fault were the only ones I saw. And I knew he says it in the Cameron one because I heard it. So I'm positive there's some Kanye song out there that neither of us have heard of. He has to say it 3 more times. And all I really wanted to get across with this is how are you as a grown ass adult using the word coochie and not only using it but using it in rap songs?
and like it might just be in that new gospel album that nobody listened to.
Oh,
Like that's
yo,
probably like it's in there, and he's like, um,
gonna get my
God,
Chick Fil A. Let me in your
this
coochie
Chick
on
Fil A
Sundays.
chicken is so juicy, it's like a coochie or something like that. Like, oh,
uh,
Kanye.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I think you're right. I think there's probably like some random song out there that he just says it, and nobody's even heard of it yet.
right, and so I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you think that he uses that word consistently in his regular life? Like, do you
Uh,
think he's like dirty talking Kim Kardashian? Just like, hey girl, let me get that coochie. Like, do you...
Probably.
That's such an awful thing. Oh my
Gross.
gosh.
But yeah, it is weird, and it's. I mean, and like you said, he doesn't just say it like straight up. Like he puts like an umph to it, especially in Lord, Lord, Lord.
Yeah.
Just
Our girls the models, they coochies the juices.
mm.
And he uses it to end the line and all your fault, and he says it so loud. He's like, girls be acting like it's diamonds in their coochie.
And he says like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
God, dude. Whew. All right, so I just wanted to go over that because it hit me.
Yeah. Well, actually, now that I'm sort of running through the song in my head, he says, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And then he says a line about police brutality, about cops choking out people
Oh yeah,
in the media.
let's go. Yeah, in the media. Yeah. So that's coochie is such a nondescript word for him that he was able to just move on from it and talk about police brutality. So it's clearly a word he uses all the time, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like I think I mentioned a couple episodes ago where he just kind of just randomly like just says lines that don't fit, like the Marshawn and Tom Brady thrown to me. You're like, wait, what? Like,
Oh,
so
keep it
I think it's
300
par
like
for the
Romans.
course with him. Yeah, like that one, and yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just a psychopath. Like in between beeps, he just throws the word coochie out because he's evolved past regular language and he just beeps at people now.
Mm.
So, all right, I just wanted to go over that because I thought that was a fun one, and I was at work and I was like, this man says coochie twice in 2 songs. And then you
There's
told
a
me about
pattern
the third. Yeah, like Charlie in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's got the fucking boards in the street behind him.
I was over there like, coochie, coochie. There is no coochie in HR.
Oh. All right,
Yeah.
fuck. All right, so I'm gonna move on from this to our rap versus as a feature.
Just serious rap topics.
Yeah, serious rap topics, which may also contain some Kanye West. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to get back to you, but So,
But this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Well, this week, we've been doing sort of our favorite, different aspects of it. Not just straight up something easy like favorite song or favorite hip hop artist or whatever. It's been more detailed stuff, more minute stuff, just because that's where the fun stuff is, I think, or that's where you can mine for real good stuff. So this week we wanted to do favorite rap verse, but it is when the rapper comes in as a guest.
Right.
So like not his song or his or her song, but they just come in and they kill it. I think this one would be an interesting one also, where we do the opposite, which is the worst ones. Because I think I know I can't think of any off the top of my head where somebody comes in and they're just rapping about bullshit nonsense. I don't know. There's this guy. I don't know if you saw it this week on Twitter. This guy who does he does comedy videos. I even forget his name. It's like something Phillips, Mark Phillips. But there was one where he's like, like the video is like, when the rapper sends the other rapper his guest verse and it's trash.
Oh yeah.
And he's listening to it and he's like, oh fuck, turn this fucking shit off, man. I don't want to listen to this. But anyway, but we can watch that one. We'll talk about it later. But this week we're doing favorite rap verses as a guest. If you want to go, do you want to go first and just give your top 5 and kind of go into whichever ones you think or which ones you really like and why?
All right, so here's my main issue is that, like, as I was doing this, right, I realized that, like, the way people are with sports teams, where it's like a Duke fan is never going to admit their team sucks. Like when they get bounced in the first round by 16 seed. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to admit it because they're too much of a homer. I'm like that with music, in which, like, I hear guest features from people I like, and I think I automatically just put them higher than I would, because like it's like I was going through them and I was like, the ones I know off the top of my head, I'm gonna have a lot of repeats. So I don't really have a top 5. I'm just gonna, there's a couple of them that stuck out to me. The first one that stuck out to me immediately was Pusha T and So Appalled from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
He kills that fucking song. I mean, everyone on that song kills it. That's one of the things like on that album is that nobody dropped the bar. Nobody that came in. He got Nicki Minaj's best verse of her whole fucking career on Monster. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
actually, now that I said no one dropped it, Jay Z dropped it a little bit. Jay Z dropped it a little bit on Monster. You know, maybe a lot.
Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong,
Loch Ness.
Goblin.
Yeah, it was over the top. But yeah. So, Pusha T's verse on So Appalled is money, and it's like I don't even. It's for me like the thing about Pusha T is like what I enjoy about him isn't so much like he's not in it for the punchlines. You know what I mean? Like 2 Chainz. Whenever 2 Chainz is on a song, you can point to specific lines. You're like that shit was great. That shit was great. That shit was great. Pusha T is like a consistent like flow, and each line plays on the last one. So like there's never like a punchline really. You know what I mean? Like there's small ones, but he never like sells them super hard because he's immediately using that for the next one. It's like I can't think of specific lines in that song, but I remember the whole time I was fucking listening to that verse. I was like, this dude's killing it right now. Actually, you know what? Them kilos came would give you Bobby Brown jaw.
Yeah.
I was like, God. So yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wouldn't be a Pusha line without some coke talk.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Is Pusha also complete drug rap? Like that's all he raps about, and the reason why is because he actually did sell them fucking drugs, unlike Drake says. One of my little bit of trivia, fucking, I think Pusha T's manager got locked up with a bunch of coke, and everyone thinks it was like Pusha T shit that was getting moved.
Probably.
So I think Pusha T is really about that life. So going from a Pusha T verse on a Kanye song in which he talks about drugs, my next one I could think of off the top of my head was Jay-Z in Pusha T's song "Drug Dealers Anonymous," and Jay-Z again, like he came through with a really solid verse. The first line I think of off my head is he says, "Damn, Daniel, FBI keep bringing them all white vans through." I was like, God, that's fucking dope. So yeah, that one, and then the next one, the last one I'm going to talk about or at all or even mention is on your list also, and it is 100%, in my opinion, one of my favorite. Actually, no, I have two more to talk about. It's the same guy on both of them, which is on Pusha T's song "Nostalgia." Kendrick comes in and just fucking annihilates that song.
Yeah.
And
Well, name the
pace.
other one so we can tag team this one and we can switch
The
over
other
to,
one is No More Parties in LA. Kendrick Lamar comes into No More Parties in LA and also kills that one too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Nostalgia though, he comes through on Nostalgia with the fucking bars. Like the one thing you mentioned was the tens, and I didn't even notice that.
So he has like a little section in the middle where he has this great wordplay where he says, when I was 10, back when 9 ounces got you 10, and 9 times out of 10, homies don't play attention because when it's tension in the air, 9s come with extensions. And I was like,
another level of play on that is I think the 9s, like, there's a chance that 9s coming with extensions is if you extend 9, it's 10. Like, I think there's another level even deeper. Like,
yeah, dude, that's like you know how we were talking about a couple weeks ago with like the lasagna, cheese really sounds like lasagna. Like, I wonder, like, when he wrote this, if he was like, holy shit, like, because it's, the 9s, 9 ounces, like the guns 9s, like.
Did he know? Did he know like this is next level, or was he just like, nah, dog, another verse in the bank?
And I think it's so interesting because I think this verse and his voice in this verse fits very well with the beat. And I mean, eventually, I'm sure we'll do best rap beats. But I think it helps. I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? It only gets amplified by the beat, and I think his voice. Right. And the wordplay in this verse is very good. So it is on my list as well. Because I was, just because he comes in, just because Kendrick comes in doesn't mean it'll be a great verse. I mean, I listened to the Mask Off remix that he did with Future, and it's ungood. So it's good that, he has this one. Do you have any other ones? Or do you want me to take over?
Last one is
Ghostface
Killah and New Godflow. Ghostface Killer comes in at the end of New Godflow and takes like 2 minutes and is just going off for the whole last 2 minutes of that song.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and off of Cruel Summer,
Right.
the Good Fridays compilation, which I think is underrated and people kind of forget about sometimes. I don't really see it mentioned often, but you know, it gave us Mercy and what was the other one? Click.
Yeah, Mercy,
Uh,
Click. I don't like. I think it
yeah,
was
I
on
don't
there.
like the remix. Yeah. So like all really good songs that I think just kind of get forgotten
I think the
for
reason
some
it gets
reason.
forgotten is because there's only like I feel
It's
like
like 12 songs.
Is it 12?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that many. But I think the thing is that the songs that are the best were all on the radio. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like so it was just like I don't even need the album. Like I catch the five best ones and they were all radio cuts and I heard
Right.
them.
And then looking over the track list right now, the rest of them are kind of like, eh. I mean, they're kind of just like
Right.
real, just kind of middle of the road kind of crap, including my least favorite Kanye West song of all time, "Cold," the one with
Uh,
DJ
uh,
Khaled.
uh, uh, Get the Theraflu, that one, right?
Yeah, oh, I hate that one so much.
Yeah, I
All
actually
right,
kind of like it, but that's also the
okay,
one that's got the R. Kelly, Mitt Romney, don't pay no taxes.
yes. Can we pause for like a second? Like, breaking news, breaking news. I mean, it won't be breaking by the time you listen to this, but I want to hear your immediate reaction.
Oh
All right,
boy,
Tyler. Cameron Newton signs a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots.
God damn it, dude! I knew it. I knew it. Carolina Panther fans should be fucking ashamed.
I
Fucking
cannot wait for this.
yo,
I want
I
there to be
hope
a
they
football
win a
season
Super Bowl.
just for this.
I
Oh
hope
my
he wins
god,
a
dude!
Super Bowl. Bro,
I hope he
it
comes
just said it's
MVP, dude.
fucking
45
nuts.
touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 10 rushing ones, dude. Oh man, I'm hyped.
Oh my god, dude, that's nuts. Oh
Yeah,
shit, dude. All right, bro. Every Carolina fan that was ever shitting on Cam Newton can suck the fattest dick because he's gonna turn around and win this. You know what's funny?
if you
I
thought
don't
Kyle
even.
Allen was the future, oh my god, you
Yeah.
idiot!
The thing I know, like, all right. So here's the deal. I'm not even a Carolina fan.
Me
I'm
neither.
not a super big Cam Newton fan. But my problem was that Carolina fans were acting like Cam Newton was the problem on that team. He was the
Dude,
only
who?
good thing you had.
He was the only. He willed that 2015 team. Or that 2015 team did have a good defense, but he willed that offense to 15-1. Like, do you know how difficult it is to be 15-1
Right.
in the NFL? And who was the leading receiver? Philly Brown,
That's
Ted
the thing.
Ginn,
Yeah, his receivers have always been terrible. Bro, do you
Bummy
remember?
McBumface.
Do
Oh
you
my
remember when
gosh.
people were acting like Kelvin Benjamin was a beast, and then they were like, "Oh well, wait, he put on like 80 pounds and
What
dropped
did
every fucking thing."
Booger McFarland said? He's a couple of biscuits away from being a tight end.
Yeah, so
Um,
that was his receiver. He had the end of Steve Smith's career for like a few years, maybe. I can't,
I
maybe not even a
know.
few years, but like
I
that's
think it was
that,
like a year or two. Yeah.
yeah, that was his best receiver, and that's a fucking shame.
I'm sick. I hate that they never made a move to, I don't know, get DeAndre Hopkins or somebody. I don't know. But anyway, we can get back to this. We'll talk about this if we have time at the end or maybe next week. But that's amazing. Yeah, it literally just came into my phone. That's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait.
nuts.
Can't wait.
Yo, can't wait. Oh, you've been watching film? That's cool. Check this out.
That's cool. We'll check this out. Oh, can't wait. I'm hyped.
All
Like you
right.
said, I'm not even that big of a. I'm not even a Panthers fan.
Right. It's just like,
but
for me, it was like all the people that were like dissing him. I was like, you're so wrong. So it's like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's like when, like, here's the deal. I thought Dwight Howard was a little overrated at first. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't
Yes.
know. Like,
Okay.
he doesn't have a good offense, but he's like a little overrated. But then people were like, Dwight Howard's not even good. And I was like, well, y'all need to calm down. Because
He's
like,
a first ballot Hall of Famer, easy. And people are here. I don't even know if he belongs in the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, shut up.
like, I could see him being a first ballot. I don't know that I would say he's a first ballot, but he's definitely a no question. He should be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Dude, I mean, I think he's a first. He's a first ballot because he is the. It's hard because you can't say he's the best center of the 2010s or the 2000s because I think his best years are between like 2008 through like 2012. You know,
Right.
It's like it straddles right in between the two where you can't give him one or the other. So I think that dings him. But I think he's underrated.
But yeah, the lowest I'm willing to say is that he should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. And people are like, I don't know, he's not even good. And I'm just like, bro, his second best fucking player on his team is like fucking Hito Turkoglu, dude.
Hedo
Like,
Turkoglu, who was on steroids allegedly, I think.
steroids, but also not jacked or athletic. Like the fuck.
Right.
he
just got him
took
to the bare
steroids for
minimum.
3-point shot.
Yeah. But
So yeah,
anyway.
but like yeah, so that's the thing I have with Cam Newton, which is that like I thought like like at first I was like I don't think he's all that, but then Carolina fans are like we fucking need to get rid of him, like we got to find something else. I'm like y'all are out of
We
control.
need our savior, Kyle Allen.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite videos I saw on Twitter was it was like a Christian McCaffrey video where he was getting like a Madden trophy for being like 99 overall. Like it was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
short
yeah.
little clip, and in the background, Kyle Allen is like walking by with a football with the coach, and the coach just like real lazily smacks it, and it falls out of his hand. And someone quoted that, and it was like, "Look, Kyle Allen fumbling this shit in practice."
How could you not? Yeah, yeah. Dude.
So yeah, they think Kyle Allen's the answer. They thought they needed to get rid of Cam Newton. Meanwhile, Cam Newton's gonna put his fucking nutsack on the team, on the league, and Bill Belichick and Cam Newton go into the Super Bowl, making Tom Brady look foolish. So
Can't wait.
can't wait. I'm doing the Cam Newton like where he's got the towel over his head. He does a little nod and walks away.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna be like, it feels weird to be like, go Patriots, but I can't wait.
Right. Isn't that Bart? It's the dude with the Jets, right? That does.
Yeah. Oh, Bart Scott.
Yeah, Bart Scott. Yeah, he's like, can't wait.
Can't wait.
All right, sorry.
right.
So back to rap versus.
Yeah, back to rap
time
versus.
we lost on that. But
Yeah.
it was worth it.
It was worth it. All right, I'm gonna go down. So yeah, mine's. I did 5 just because I did nostalgia.
Right.
And then tied for first. Well, not. I didn't really put them in an order, but I also had a tie of Control, which we mentioned before.
Right.
Kendrick Lamar coming on Control, and then J. Cole going on Looking for Trouble. But we already talked about them, so I'm gonna skip them.
Right.
My next one is Drake on Stay Scheming, off of Rick Ross's.
Right.
I think it was a mixtape from 2012.
Yep. All right. So we had a little technical glitch there, but I believe what we were talking about is you were talking about the Drake's Stay Scheming verse.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. Yeah. So what was it? Stay Scheming. Right. So it's on Rick Ross's mixtape, I think Rich Forever, I think from 2012. And he has another one where the beat works. He has a line that now probably is a little insensitive, maybe. I don't know how to say it. It's the one where he's talking about Kobe losing 150 M's. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oof. But it's still good regardless of that line.
Kobe,
so,
I hate it had to be him.
How had to be him? You would be shooting in the gym, and it's like, okay, well now it's like,
Yeah.
But before it was great. I mean, and then the rest of the verse is great.
And you were specifically, you'd mentioned something about a bench or starter line.
Let me see. Let me pull
Is that
it
in
up.
this song? Because I feel like he says it in the song. I just don't remember if it's this one where he says like bench players talking like starters. I hate it.
That's
a
started
different
from
song,
the
I think.
bottom.
Yeah.
That's Tuscan Leather. That's Tuscan Leather.
Oh,
Poor
okay,
Tuscan Leather,
okay.
smelling like a brick. Let me see. He says something like, Guess every
team doesn't come complete with people like ours.
yeah. Let me see. Might look like, but we heavy though.
I mean, either way,
Yes.
it's still a dope verse.
Yes.
But only thing I hated about it is that he said that was him beating Common in their beef, and that was like the wackest shit I've ever heard. He was like, "Well, yeah, but mine's on the radio all the time, and Common's isn't." And I was like, "That's not how rap battles work. That's Mr. fucking on LeBron's barbershop." Like
I study rap battles
battles
for a living.
My favorite thing is he says, "I study rap battles for a living." It's like, no, you don't. You rap. You don't have to study rap battles. It's a rap. Like that. Those are just two completely separate things.
Right.
And also, you're wrong.
Yes. And I don't think he's ever had a freestyle or freestyled ever. So.
Yeah.
And so I've gone through Nostalgia, Stay Scheming, Control, Looking for Trouble, but those two were tied.
Right.
And then my final two, one is J Rock on Money Trees,
Right.
which off of Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar.
Hmm.
Great verse. And then my number one, no matter what happens,
Oh boy.
the greatest
No.
guest verse of all time, including the greatest verse of the 2010s, or my favorite verse of the 2010s, is Nicki Minaj on Monster, which you mentioned before. I think that it's so good. She comes out of that thing like a cannon. I do want to read this little segment from by Shea Serrano. He has that
Hmm.
book, the Rap Year book, and he describes it so well.
Okay.
Um, he says, it, it, he says writing about Nicki Minaj's verse on Monster is like writing about the solar system or Steph Curry's jump shot, and that words can be used to describe it, but none ever hold all of what it is or what it does. He says, picture an atomic bomb going off inside of a bank vault, or picture someone pumping your head full of air until it bursts. That's the verse, and I feel like that's what it is. I always misquote that line, but I think I've said that it's like a neon nuclear bomb going off inside of a submarine. Like it's just color and it's loud and it's braggadocio, and it's so good. And um,
I don't. What's funny is I don't even really like that verse anymore.
you don't? Why not?
I, it's so over the top, like the ridiculous voices, like the "Cause I'm in a tonka color over Willy Wonka." Like I just like I every time I hear it, I just like I go like, ugh. Like it's so ridiculous. And I think part of it for me is that like what Nicki Minaj has turned into, as far as like a person outside of like on track. You know what I mean? Like she's like always in drama, like just fucking like causing problems,
Right.
pissing people off, and complaining about shit. And it's just like that combined with this over the top, like I just now like I'm just like enough. Even though this happened before those things, like it to me, it just now is like I'm just like it's so much, like it's just so over the top, like just
I know, but
shit.
for me, it's like witnessing, I don't know, like KD's Rookie of the Year. Like it's something where you saw it or you heard it and you're like, this is gonna be big. Like she's gonna be MVP or something like that. And she was like, I think 2014, she was that year's rap MVP. Um,
Yeah,
and
I was actually just never big on her in general. Like I thought that verse was very good, but it never was like a game changer for me. You know what I mean?
uh, that's interesting. Yeah, because like I said, I think I'm gonna repeat myself in the future when I do favorite verses, just period, or favorite verses of the last 10 years. Um, but it's just interesting because I think it's for me, it's so good, and she's really good in it, and she is, and there's this confidence to it alongside being there, alongside Kanye and Jay-Z, and who else is on that? Pusha T,
There's no, it's a
Rick Ross.
it's Rick Ross. Fat motherfucker now look who's in trouble.
Yeah, barely. But and holding her own, and I think doing really, really, really well.
Yeah, I'll give
Um,
you that. It definitely wasn't like the weakest on the song because Jay Z was, and like it was definitely very good. But like think I like, I think I like Kanye's verse more than hers on that song.
interesting, interesting.
It's just obviously a me thing. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone says that's great, and even from the outside looking in, as someone who's not crazy about her music or even that verse, I can still tell you that she was very popular, right? And
Hmm.
that was clearly by far and away her best verse ever. You know what I mean? So like even outside looking in, not being a super huge fan of her and like really liking that verse, but not thinking it was like anything crazy, like I can still see where like everyone else she was super popular and that was still far and away her best. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like it very clearly was an A plus, like fucking A plus plus S level like thing for most people. I just for whatever reason like I said, it was just too over the top for me. Like the just fucking like the you know what I mean?
And the music video,
Really wonk. Yeah, and the music video is so over the top. She's doing like the split personality, like
That's yeah,
handshake. It's super
her
fast
on
thing,
the
like
her on the chair, and then the other one, the like
like dominatrix
the
kind of thing.
dominatrix version of her. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Um.
just I was like the whole time I was like, this is a lot. You're doing a lot. Like
Oh yeah. But yeah, those are my five. Some
definitely
awesome.
respectable five.
Yeah, some another one like Rick Ross on Devil in a New Dress, and some other ones that I can't quite think of. But those are like my five. Like the first that I think of that come to mind, those were it. Or I guess six, but one of them was a tie.
And one I'm gonna throw in my top five because I didn't give five. I think I gave four. So my the last one pulling in my top five is probably gonna be Two Chains on Mercy. Two
Mm,
Chains on Mercy really goes so hard, and it's punchline after punchline, and it's nonsense, but it's still great. So that's gonna round out my top five.
nice,
And
nice.
so, but
Um,
nostalgia with Kendrick Lamar on both of ours
mhm.
definitely came in and killed it.
Speaking of being big fans of a person,
Okay.
we're gonna skip to, or we're gonna jump to Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys
Okay.
quarterback, signing
Okay.
his franchise tender, which means he's on the payroll for 2020. I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. I think he's gonna have an MVP type season, which he already did, and the only thing that failed him was the defense last year in 2019. I'm so ready, dude. Like I put on my cape hard for Dak. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks right now. And I'm gonna hit you with some stats, but first, what do you think? What do you think about Dak? I know you're not so hot on him, but I'm all in on him.
I don't see it, and here's where like for me, it's obviously some level of like cognitive dissonance because like I think Mina Kimes posted something and it said that like Dak Prescott had like the highest um like average passing yards added over expectations. I know it's not that long. I know it's abbreviated in some different way, but it's basically like the stat was saying that like given all these deep passes he's throwing, like these people are getting more yards than we would expect out of that same scenario. That's basically what the stats measuring. And Dak was number one. And like while in my head, like I can't argue with that stat, I'm going to be the asshole who's like, I don't give a fuck about the stats because I've watched with my own fucking eyes Dak Prescott overthrow Michael Gallup wide ass open so many times. I've watched Michael Gallup, who's fast. It's not like Michael Gallup's slow. Michael Gallup be wide open down the sideline and the ball just goes sailing over his head or come up short. And I'm just like, bro, it was a touchdown. Like you
Yes,
couldn't give him anything, and so like they're like, oh, he's the best on deep throws. But I'm just in my head, I was like, I've watched the points disappear in front of my eyes.
I think for like him, I think it's either the fact that the cameras are always on that team, or the pressure or something, because I feel like him and Romo have this ability, or they're cursed with this thing where like if they screw up once, it's the most backbreaking screw ups ever. Like there's dudes like Ryan Fitzpatrick who throw like 2 or 3 picks and they'll come right back and they'll like kill it because maybe they'll throw a pick and the other team doesn't score, or it's a 3 and out or whatever. But I feel like every time Prescott or Romo back when he was playing, when they mess up, they're like just the most soul crushing, back breaking type mistakes that I think if it was anybody else, it would be just like a normal mistake. Like he'll miss a throw and it'll be, instead of being 39, it'll be 4th and 1, and then that's it. Or they,
or he'll miss the throw and like the receiver will reach for it and like tap it and it just goes like directly into a defender's hand.
yes,
Like,
dude,
like
just like the worst. Just like I remember there was one pick where Witten with Romo, Witten, he like kicked it up with his thigh on
right.
accident and it got
Yeah.
picked off and it was a pick six, and it's like who else does this happen to? How does this happen? But I feel like that sort of overthrow thing is kind of what I mean. It's like he'll miss somebody but then he'll get picked, and not in like the opposite of luck, just like the worst
Well,
luck, just like a curse.
but like for me it's not even like I'm not talking about the picks. It's just like I've seen him miss easy throws
Yeah.
over and over and over again. Like I think without looking at the stat or being the guy who can come up with the stat, I definitely don't have the fucking formula down. Um, But like, I wonder if maybe he's just performing better on hard throws because like I feel like he misses some very easy throws
So
like
the easy
pretty
ones
consistently, and like
makes it
that's one
hard on
thing I
himself. He wants to see if he can do it. He's playing on all Madden.
right. But like I now that I never had with Tony Romo. And as a matter of fact, I would take Tony Romo on this team at this point in Tony Romo's career over Dak Prescott. Up until
I don't know
Tony
about
Romo,
right now.
what do you mean? I'm
Well,
saying
like you're
like
saying, like you mean
Tony
like
Romo this far, like Tony, how far is
like
Dak into
what is it like?
his
This is gonna be his
fourth?
fourth season.
I would take Tony Romo's
16,
fourth
17,
season.
18, 19. This is gonna be his fifth season. 2020 is gonna be his fifth season,
Right, so I would take Tony Romo's fifth season.
which would have been 23, 4, 5. Yeah, I think that was like 2007 or 2008, like right
Yeah,
around right around
up
when he
in
finished second in MVP.
up until Tony Romo hurts his back, I would take Tony Romo over Dak Prescott
I
every
think so.
year.
I I,
And
I
so
think
like
so. Yeah.
and part of the reason we're digressing because it's about Dak Prescott, but my whole thing with Tony Romo that like I think he got an unfair rep because our defense, our defense now is not great, but like it's not bad. Like we finished like top 10 in like fewest yards allowed. I think like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
it's like a
not
very bend but don't break defense.
right. Our defense with Tony Romo was playing was like break but don't bend. It was like just fucking our defense was like just give it up, dude. Just give it up. Who cares? Like give up points. Bro, we lost a game. I'm pretty sure it was to the This is purely off of memory, not looking anything up. I'm pretty sure we scored 49 points in a game and lost to the Broncos. And
Yes, it
like
was
Tony
the
Romo threw
Broncos
a pick
and
and it was like everyone was like, "Look, Tony Romo in clutch time." I was like, "Bro, if your quarterback helps you put up 48 points, like it's not on him. I don't care when he throws the interception.
right. That
Your
was
defense shouldn't have
that's
give up 51. Like,
Yep. That was his best game as a Cowboy. I think he had 5 touchdowns, 400 something yards. It was against the Broncos, that 2013 Broncos, where Peyton Manning broke the scoring record or the touchdown record. And it was in Dallas. I remember that. And yeah, he threw a late pick where they had a chance to I think to win it or to tie it. But
506 yards and 5 TDs.
yeah, dude, yeah, like his
And we
best game
lost.
ever, and we lost it. Do you have the
That's
score?
let's see. It doesn't
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
fucking rough though. I want to say it was something like 51 to like 48 or 49 is what I want to
Peyton
say.
Manning scored a rushing touchdown on a bootleg run, and there was nobody within 10 yards of him. Like that's how. Well, I mean, I know, they're not gonna look for that, of course, because it's Peyton Manning. But not only that, it's 2013 Peyton Manning.
51 to
But still,
48. 51 to 48. I can't believe I remembered that. But yeah,
yeah,
51 to 48.
yeah, those are the things that stick. But anyway, back to Dak.
Yeah, sorry.
So
Back to Dak.
him and I'm gonna hit you with like the stats. Like here is the stats that tell you that he's one of the best in the league. He is since 2018, only him and Pat and MVP and Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes are the only QBs with more than 20 passing TDs outside of the red zone. He is 52.6% on adjusted completion on deep throws, which was third among QBs. And like you were saying about that his supporting cast isn't as good, 36 of Prescott's passes were dropped in last season, which was the most in the NFL. And he finished third in yards per attempt, and avoided tackles with 14 among QBs. So like he is right there. Like he just needs to fix a couple more things, make a couple more of those passes. Maybe have our luck bend on even half of those passes. Maybe that's an extra game or 2 games won. For him to, I think, be up there with like Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, who else? Russell Wilson.
So like I think that's my thing though. So like if I'm thinking about quarterbacks in the league, I'm trying to. All right, hold on. This is a ranking for all 32, and I'm just gonna go through it super quick, and I'm gonna say whether I think they're better or not, and I'm gonna count how many of people I have ahead of Dak, and you count how many you have ahead of Dak, and we'll figure this out at the end. All right.
Yeah.
So, Patriots have whoever the fuck they have, which is now Cam Newton actually, because this was before the Cam news. So, I would take Dak over Cam Newton right now.
Same.
If Cam Newton turns out to be healthy and is good this year, going into next year, I might be on the fence on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take Dak on that one too. Okay.
Right. So, Dwayne Haskins, he's definitely better than Dwayne Haskins.
Dak.
Your boy Mitchell Trubisky, he's definitely better than Trubisky. This is an ad. Okay, Tyrod Taylor, definitely better than him.
Dak. Yeah, just jump up to 15 because I feel like we both agree he's at least top 15, right?
Let's see.
Is there anybody between 15 and 32 that you think?
That's what I'm scrolling through super fast right now. He's better than Mayfield. Burrow is at 21. That one I can't say anything on because I don't know.
I'm gonna say Dak just because we don't know.
Right, he's better than Josh Allen, so I'd take Dak. He's Derek Carr, I'd take Dak. Kyler Murray looked pretty good, but I'd still take Dak right now.
Yeah, same.
Goff is terrible. I'd take Dak.
Dak.
He's okay. Garoppolo, I'd still take Dak.
Dak.
All right, this one's going to be an unpopular one. And I'm not saying I'm going to take this guy. I'm just saying it's close in my mind. Is Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan.
I'm going to put Matt Ryan. I'm going to pick Ryan.
Okay. I also thought Matt Ryan. Because Matt Ryan I doesn't get as much credit as he should get.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. This site's out of fucking control because they have Dak Prescott behind Kirk Cousins. You're out of your fucking mind, bro.
Yeah, Dak, dude. Dak.
All
and
right.
they have Kirk Cousins ahead of Matt Ryan. No, insane. I mean, yes, he played well at the end of the season, but
no. All right, so here's the deal. I went into this thinking I don't know if he's in my top 10, but given what I've got so far, I think he's going to be in my top 10. Tom Brady, I'm taking Dak just because Brady, I don't know what I'm getting. Like he's a little old. I don't, you know what I mean? It's iffy on Tom Brady because we haven't seen him outside of that offense either.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm taking Dak. So right now, Matt Ryan's the only one I have over Dak. So Ryan Tannehill, that one's
Dak.
iffy. That one's iffy for me because Tannehill balled the fuck out last season. And so I don't know how much of Ryan Tannehill being bad is just because he was stuck on that fucking Dolphins team.
Right. And how much of his success is based on Derrick Henry, you know?
But see, that's not a fair comparison for, well, like to me, Dak has Zeke. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but dude, like Derrick Henry was 2016 Zeke plus a little bit more. Like he was almost MVP level last season.
Yeah.
Like I think he had like this.
That's the other thing too, though, is like if there's so many variables because like I don't know that Zeke can't be that good, but like he played in a Jason Garrett offense, so everyone knew what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess that's right. He didn't play in what's his name?
Fuck. Like
But yeah, Vrabel.
Yeah. So Jason Garrett, one of the worst coaches in the league. So he's out. But so right now I'm taking Dak over Tannehill, but I could see if things go super well again for Tannehill next year, I might think differently. I'm taking Dak over Matt Stafford.
Yep, same.
Yeah, Matt Stafford is like a bad Romo for me where I'm like, you never win anything and you put up a lot of numbers, but in my head, for whatever reason, I'm like, he's actually bad though. Like Tony Romo, I'm like, you never won anything, you put up a lot of numbers, you're great. Matt Stafford's like, you never won anything, you put up a lot of numbers, but you suck. Also, he had Calvin Johnson, which is better than anybody Tony Romo ever had by 1,000 fucking exponential factors.
Yep.
So Carson Wentz, I'm taking Dak. So
I am for that one. It's close, and I'm gonna give the edge to Wentz.
Nearly as good as everyone thinks he is. I'm fighting that one. I
know, but he would have been MVP in 2017 if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Right, but he always gets hurt.
I know. Well, it's just one, just the ACL.
Well, no, he got hurt again the next year, right?
Well, he was out the whole next year because of the ACL. So he hurts it at the end of 2017, then win the Super Bowl.
Right, and
the next season.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that that team won a Super Bowl with a backup. Like, how good is that team that we're not giving them credit for? You know what I mean? Where like Nick Foles comes in, kills it, and like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
True.
So I'm taking Dak over that one. You're going to give the edge to Wentz. So you have two over Dak.
Barely, but yes, Wentz.
If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
Deshaun Watson, I'm taking Watson.
Watson. I had to look at the stats, but probably Watson.
All right. Aaron Rodgers, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
Same.
Drew Brees, I'm taking Drew Brees.
I'd have to look at Drew Brees from last year because I'm sure there's been some drop off.
He was still really good last year, I think.
Yeah, but he was gone most of the year because of Teddy Bridgewater. So I'd have to see sort of what his shit would have looked like over
in the last 4 games over 2019. He threw for over 1,100 yards with 15 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Drew Brees, okay, all right then. Yeah, maybe I'll still give it to Brees.
Okay. So then Lamar Jackson, I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson,
Russell Wilson, I'm taking Russell
Wilson,
Wilson. And then Mahomes, I'm taking Mahomes.
Mahomes. Yeah.
All
So what
right.
is that?
So
Like 7 or 8?
he's eighth for me. I think he's probably, or no, he's seventh for me. I think eighth for you.
8. Yeah. So I
So
mean that seems about
yeah,
right for
that's
me.
top
Yeah.
10. Yeah. It's just like well, here's the deal. So he's top 10 now that I've seen that, but I think there's a substantial drop off before you get to him. Like Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Wilson, Watson,
I think those.
and then it's like there's a drop.
Yeah.
And Rodgers, depending on the year, Rodgers wasn't good last year, but like if Rodgers comes through and has a good year, you kind of just count that as an off year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Rodgers
Right.
has a chance to be up there, but then it's like a drop, and then Prescott.
For me, Rodgers last year, it was one of those like, okay, what's going on here? Because you have Devontae Adams, one of the best in the league, and
Right.
you're not looking your best, and it's like, okay, like, is everybody seeing this? Like, okay, look, we'll let you skirt on this season, but
Especially
next
because it's a
season,
new coach. Like there's enough going on, like a brand new coach, brand new scheme, all that. So like I'm willing to let it slide, but
oh yeah,
he has to be good this year. If
yeah,
he's
that's what I
bad, then I'm
same,
like the
same.
slide started last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
then
started
it's like
going
okay,
downhill.
then it's the beginning at the end. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So, but like I said, I think there's a substantial drop off. And my problem with Dak is that like saying he's top 10 like makes this more difficult to say, but like I don't think you can pay him the highest. Like he can't be the highest paid quarterback in the league. Like you're gonna. I don't think he's good enough where you make that decision.
I know, but it just keeps like I feel like I was talking to a coworker and he was like, "You can't pay him that." I'm like, "I know, dude, but it's like, it's just the way it goes." Like I think they'll pay him his giant contract this year, and then next year Wilson or Watson or Mahomes they'll get their huge contract, and it'll make Dax look small by comparison. I think it's just the way it goes. It's just the way
Right,
it
but it's still
crumbles in
like,
terms of
but it still hinders your ability to build around for the
right.
rest of
And
the
I
team.
think that's just the way it is. I think that's just it's either you. I mean, these days it's like you either you know
So yeah, it seems like you either get it on the rookie contract or you just have one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't think that for me paying a quarterback the big bucks isn't the death sentence that some people think. Like some people, they'll go, oh, the top 3 or 4 top paid quarterbacks are all like Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, not Russell Wilson, sorry, like Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins. I don't know who else has a big contract like that. And they'll sort of point like to it and say, well, look, if you pay these guys big bucks, you're not gonna win. What are you gonna do? You better
Yeah.
budget carefully. But if you expand it just a little bit more, Drew Brees is there, Russell Wilson's there, Ben Roethlisberger's there. Um,
I
so
think I think though to be fair, I put Drew Brees, especially when he signed the contract, like Drew Brees was a dude that like just made it happen. You know what I mean? He was above that drop off that we were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Russell Wilson is above that drop off. Um, Roethlisberger is not, but that's why it went to shit the moment Le'Veon Bell and fucking Antonio Brown had to get paid.
right. But then also, I would have loved to have seen their team last year with him not getting hurt because that defense was like I think like top 1 or 2. Um, so and I
That's
do
true.
think that he's better than Duck Hodges or whoever the hell else they had or you know
Right, but even with their defense being that way, I can't imagine they'd have been like in my mind. There's no chance they made it to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
no, but yeah, that's true.
So like that, I guess that's my issue. Like I understand when you get a good quarterback, you have to pay him. That's just the rules. But in my opinion, the only way I feel good about it is like if like let's put it this way: if you think Russell Wilson is fourth, right? I'm just throwing a random number out there. If you think Russell
Yes,
Wilson's fourth, which works, you could say he's behind Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, and somebody else,
Watson.
and Watson. But yeah, Watson. So like if you think he's fourth and you make him the highest paid quarterback in the league, your answer is still like he's the guy who can make shit happen when he doesn't have shit happening around him. And like I don't know that's the case with Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
Like Dak Prescott before he got Amari Cooper was having and again all of this is with Jason Garrett as the fucking head coach. So all this could go out the window once we start running play action. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and do the Kellen and let Kellen Moore do his shit because I mean first 3 games of last season, they looked pretty good when he was running the play action like 40% of the time. And then somewhere Jason Garrett took over, and that shit drops to like 20%. And then that's when we start losing.
What's weird is like that seems like what happened. Like based on everything in front of us, that seems what happened. But like what I don't understand is why. Like why would Jason Garrett have gotten involved? Because at that point, the best thing he could have done was to keep his hands out of it. If they win a Super Bowl, then he keeps his job.
Right.
Like why did he decide to get his hands in it?
I literally sometimes think it's just like a self-preservation thing where you see the writing on the wall and you go, well, this team's doing well and I'm supposed to be the offensive genius here. I gotta do. I gotta control it. You know.
Right.
I mean, it's exactly the type of person that he is. But yeah.
So that's the thing is, I'm uncomfortable paying Dak like a huge contract. He just signed a franchise tag, right? Like
right.
He's not
31 mil, I think.
Right. So I don't. That's fine. You know, you got to do what you got to do, but like that huge contract's going to be tough to swallow if he doesn't look great this year. And you know what? This could be perfect. This could be the like if he comes out and kills it with Mike McCarthy's whole staff, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and has a great year, then I don't feel bad about paying him that much. But if he comes out and fucking stinks it up, it seems like the Cowboys are willing to just let him walk.
Let him walk and then get whatever's in the draft.
Right.
Make the gigantic, massive, super ultra trade and trade for Trevor Lawrence. Although that would be dumb, but
no, I'd do it. Fuck it, dude. I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
That'd be amazing.
Right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
But I do want to mention one last thing.
Or we get one more year, right? One more buffer year, and then is that when your boy from Sam Howell, that's a beast?
Oh, no. 2 more years. Yeah.
2 more years. All right. Maybe something will happen and we'll end up with him. But either way.
That'd be sweet. Dude, yeah, man. I'm very excited about Sam Howell.
Sorry.
But
go ahead.
I can't talk about Dak without talking about him getting the shit beat out of him in Panama City when he was at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Dude,
he got jumped, right? Like
he got jumped at some bar, and there's like a picture of a guy stomping him out. So this week, somebody posted a picture of Teddy Bridgewater getting the shit knocked out of him, either when he was with the Saints or when he was at Louisville, one of those two. And somebody was like, or they captioned it like, man, imagine if this was your quarterback or something like that. It was getting the shit beat out of him like on the field. And okay. I retweeted it, and then I stopped. I went back, I unretweeted it, and then I quote tweeted it and said, I tweeted this, but then I told myself not to because I remembered my quarterback had this happen to him, and I put a picture of Dak getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, that's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. My quarterback's getting curb stomped.
Oh, bro. Would have been great if the dude that curb stomped him took out the fucking a thing of fucking popcorn and just shook it like Tio.
With the big thick glasses. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Going from our favorite quarterback, to our favorite sneakers in movies, or famous sneakers in movies. So, just ones that you think of when you think of the shoe, you think of the movie, or vice versa. I have a list of a few. If you have some that jump to the top of your head, Tyler, just spit them out, or just your general thoughts. I'm just gonna go through like the ones that I thought of when this topic came up. So of course, you think about Space Jam, the Space Jam 11s.
Yeah,
that's like the first thing.
Yeah, exactly, and that one is so. That one's proliferated in different media. You know what I mean? Like rappers are fucking talking about Space Jam Jordans. You know
Even Miley Cyrus is talking about Space Jam 11s.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus. Boy, all right. Well, cultural appropriation. Let's fucking get that out of here. It's rocking that fucking Jordan jersey. Fucking god damn it! Why'd you have to bring Miley Cyrus into this, man? Because I got my hands up. All right. So where are we going? What's our next one? Space Jam Jordans, though, solid.
The Nike Cortezes in Forrest Gump. Those white ones. Oh no, they're usually white with the red stripe. But I think by the end of the movie, I think when he's on the bench, they're all like shitty. I think because he's running. That sounds right. Yeah, so that's one. Mm-hmm. The Air Jordan 1s with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. Did you see that one? The animated one about Miles Morales.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite movies that's come out recently.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that they're the Chicago ones, the originals. But they've have such a nice or they've had such a nice resurgence. I don't know if it's because of the movie or alongside the movie. But yeah, they released Jordan released some that were Spider-Verse inspired. So they look like the
Really?
ones. Yeah, they look like the ones, except the soul, instead of being red, is this sort of bluish, how can I say, sea color, and then the red and white has the little comic book dots.
Oh,
So
that's
from a
dope.
distance, they look like the normal ones, but they're a little different and they look pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd have been dope.
Yeah. And then next up, I have the Air Mags from Back to the Future Part 2, where Marty McFly goes to the far, far future of 2015, and he has some Nikes that tie themselves.
Now
And,
those were so dope that they turned around and made them in real
made
life.
them. Dude, yeah, so, like, if you see the behind the scenes pictures of them doing it, there's, like, three puppeteers on each side of Marty McFly pulling the shoelaces so that it'll automatically tie. Like, it's pretty cool. It looks like they're fucking controlling the Muppets from outside of the frame. But you're right, they made them in 2016, and the latest one on StockX has resold for $70,000.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck, dude. It's so depressing to hear those numbers, bro. That's more than I make in a year.
Easily, dude. And then you would have to basically pay that without taxes to buy these Air Mags. Yeah, they sold them in 2016. Um,
Oof.
yeah,
That's
but
like the other sneaker I can think of off the top of my head that I remember selling for a bunch. I don't know if it does now, but it was the fucking Red Octobers.
I was
I
just gonna
remember.
say that. I was literally just gonna
Yeah,
say that. I was gonna say that these are very expensive, but my holy grail shoes are the Red
yeah, the Red
Octobers.
Octobers.
Like, if I had those, my life would be complete. It's like finishing a video game. I could turn myself off, and that would be it. But last time I checked, those resell for $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a couple of, next up on the list, I have a couple of just fake shoes that are big parts of movies.
Right.
So I have the Perishes, which are from Jumanji. If you remember, like, I think David Allen Greer puts the fake. He gets fired because he puts the shoes through the machine in Jumanji or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And then in Holes,
Yo, real quick, this
yeah,
one, I didn't think of this. As we know, your boy has not watched most of the movies that we talk about. Um, it's a recurring theme. But I had seen this one. I forgot the shoes for whatever reason. I've seen this movie forever ago, and I just kind of forgot most of what it was. But literally yesterday, I think on Freeform, whatever that channel used to be, it's now Freeform.
it was
Holes was
a
on.
ABC Family.
ABC Family. Holes
Yeah.
was on, and I saw it yesterday. And then I saw the shoes, and then or the cleats, and then saw this, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
It
I
was meant
would
to be.
yeah,
A
exactly.
Freeform hacked into our Google Doc with our
They broke the
notes,
Matrix.
and they were like, "We gotta put Holes on TV, man. We gotta get Sweet Feet out there." So they're the shoes that Stanley Yelnats, played by Shia LaBeouf, he's not framed for, but he ends up going to the child prison camp about because he ends up with the shoes that belong to Rick Fox, former Carolina and Lakers player Rick Fox.
Right.
Um,
Shout
and
out
then
to real life for being in such an awful fucking situation that I'm like, that could happen now. Like that.
oh yeah. Just because they literally just caught a kid with shoes that happened to be the shoes, like not even giving him the benefit of the doubt, they just sent him to prison.
Yeah, like there's. Tell me you couldn't see right now. There's a prison somewhere out there with a bunch of fucking like prepubescent kids like fucking digging holes in the fucking desert.
With
Like
poison lizards and
yeah, no, that could absolutely happen.
oh yeah, I love Holes. But the best thing, of course, to come out of Holes is that little clip of the grandpa. You know when they're digging and the girl's like, "Grandpa, I'm tired," and the grandpa turns around and goes, "That's too damn bad."
Yeah, dude, that shit killed me when I watched it yesterday.
Oh, so good, so good. And then the last thing I have on here is ones that, as a kid, I thought were so cool, but now looking back, I'm like, those are probably torture or they violate the Geneva Conventions, and it is these magnetic prison boots from the movie Face Off.
I
I don't know
haven't
if
seen
we've.
this movie, but I'm literally googling it right now. I'll let you. Yeah.
It's so. I'm sure I think we mentioned Face Off earlier in a previous
When we're
episode
talking
when we
about
talked
Nick
about
Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah, yeah. And so, for those who don't know, Nick Cage plays a terrorist. I think played, and his name is Castor Troy. And then John Travolta plays a cop trying to hunt him down. And so they catch him early on in the movie, but he lets them know that there is going to be a nuclear bomb going off in LA. And so John Travolta has to find out where the bomb is, and their brilliant plan is that he's going to make them swap faces. And so he does, and he goes undercover, and he goes into prison as Castor Troy, and it's this like super high security, maximum, ultra, uh, mega prison that's on an island. It looks like an oil rig, and they have these shoes that are these magnetic boots where people walk around in them, and then if there's like a riot, they lock them so the prisoners can't move.
That's amazing.
And I remember as a kid, I was like, those are so cool. Like they look like rocket boots, and you can like do magnet shit on them. You could probably scale a building. But then looking back, I'm like, that's super fucked up because you could literally just do that, and then they
And then
wouldn't
just
be able
walk
to
away.
move, and they would like torture them by not like keeping them in place. They could like not use the bathroom, or they could beat the shit out of them, and they couldn't move.
You're right. Yeah, and that's exactly how our police would use them currently.
They're like Iron Man boots, but they like you can't you're stuck to the hood of a Chevy Nova because somebody turns on the magnets.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The police in the United States currently would abuse the fuck out of this ability to just lock someone in place.
Yeah, but those are my shoes. Do you have any other ones that you sort of think of off the top of your head? One that sorry, do you have any?
So really, it was the main ones I thought of were um, the Space Jam Jordans,
Mm-hmm.
and then the mag shoes. Just
Yeah,
because those are it's so nuts to me for a shoe to come out in a movie as like just a ridiculous futuristic thing, and then for a shoe company years later to be like, fuck it, we'll make it.
yeah. So we have
Like
the technology. It's like
we can
fucking
build it.
what is it? The $1 Million Man. He's like
Right.
we can build the shoe. We have the technology. Yeah, I think about yeah. So I think about those. I also think about ones that are pretty blatant product placement that I look back now and be like, that was just straight up product placement. Like they actually serve no purpose. And the one that I always think of immediately is Converse All Stars in iRobot. At the beginning of the movie, with the one with Will Smith, he like gets a package and he opens it and he goes, "Oh yeah," like something like old school, and he like puts on these Converse in like 2050, and he goes, "Oh yeah, this is that good shit." And then somebody comes in and he goes like, "Oh, are those new shoes?" And he goes, "Yup, 2004 retros or some shit like that." And I'm like, "This is a commercial. Like, what is this?" Um,
Yeah, yeah. Was that
but
movie good?
I haven't seen it in a while, but it's all right.
Me neither. I
Yeah,
remember thinking it was okay, but like I actually like now I like everything I think back and I'm like, was that good? Like I don't know. That one
yeah.
I'm not sure of.
I think it's like it's not great, but I think what could I say it's as good as something that's just like yeah, it's all right. Like maybe like a mid tier Marvel movie where it's like
Right.
that's good. But I mean like the robots still look great. I definitely know that for being 16 years old. So
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
but yeah, those are the shoes. Those are the ones that I always think of. If you have any that you kind of go, oh my gosh, like you got to think about those, or like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys didn't mention these. Please send them in. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can't think of any other than those two because I'm just awful at this. But yeah, no, those are all good ones. Oh, and then obviously the holes ones because that movie was sent down by God for me to watch that before this podcast.
it was meant to be.
It was. So definitely, if you think of anything about like shoes that we missed in movies, if you think of anything about verses that we, guest feature verses that we didn't mention, um,
Or
and
if you have any
then
thoughts about Kanye West and coochie.
yeah, I'm telling you, if you know a song that's not Lord, 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 Down and Out, or All Your Fault, where Kanye says the word coochie, if you send it to me, I'll love you forever. Because I'm going to fucking compile this, dude. I'm going to have the most ignorant fucking, like, wall, like, figuring out when these were recorded, when they released,
Who wrote them?
Yeah.
Who was in
Did
the
somebody
room?
ghostwrite this?
Who greenlit this?
I'm gonna have all that. So if you can find another verse where he says coochie, 100% send that shit to me.
Please do.
So anything like that, definitely you can send it to us at differentanimalspodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at diffanimalspod. You can reach me at tmoneybags on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can reach me at evercastro92 on Gmail. And I do want to say, if you've ever seen the movie Fight Club, there is a part where Brad Pitt gets the shit beat out of him in one of his fight clubs, and there's like 30 dudes around who are part of his Project Mayhem terrorist anarchist thing, and he gives them a homework assignment. So, in a similar vein, today I am giving you listeners a homework assignment where you have to share this podcast with 2 people. Just tell 2 people about it. Say, hey, here's an episode. If you like it, don't. Pick whichever episode was your favorite. I think we have a few now that if you thought one maybe would fit for a certain person, or maybe made you laugh, or you really liked what we talked about, share it with 2 other people, and then hopefully from there we can grow and get more listeners and help us grow and get the word out on this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Word of mouth is everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the podcasts that I listen to now I literally listen to because somebody said, hey man, look, check this out, this one's good, or like, hey, I think you'll like this or that. I don't think any of them have been because of a commercial or an ad or something. So word of mouth is vital. So yeah, just 2 people, tell 2 people between now and next episode, and yeah, we would really appreciate it.
And then we'll get everyone together and we'll fucking set bombs in a glass skyscraper
outside of a Starbucks, and then people years later will misinterpret what our movie is about, and
they'll be like, this podcast is about what it's like to be a real man.
What it's like to be a real man instead of
instead of whatever the fuck.
Instead of being like a satire about how sometimes men are stunted, and they take it out on other people.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll definitely burn some shit down, blow some shit up, and we'll fuck each other up in a basement. This is what you share. This is what you tell the next 2 people. You tell them, like, look, this is a podcast. It's a joke. It's a comedy podcast, but we are fist fighting. We are committing acts of domestic terrorism.
I want to make sure that the FBI says notes that he said that, not me. So
no, dude, he already saw. Like I said, I already shouted him out earlier. Shout out to him watching my my Kanye West coochie lyrics. Kanye West coochie genius lyrics search, so he's definitely gonna catch this. Shout out to you. So yeah, definitely spread word of mouth. It's awesome. I mean, for what it's worth, my dad mentioned to me that the Bill Simmons on ESPN, like his whole thing was like a little like blog that he ran that like just eventually grew from word of mouth, and now he has a fucking deal with Spotify and was on ESPN. Right. So I want to be on ESPN. So we're gonna share this to 2 people, and I'll start giving hot takes on national TV.
Right.
So that's the show. Stay safe. Stay entertained.
Yeah. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Yeah.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
Peace. Oh. So,
yep.
Another teaser for one of the next episode's topics, right?
Yeah.
Got D's, motherfucker D's, Rosie Perez. What on?